Hi everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to take a look at over 30 different versions of the path for spring. Now, because there are so many versions that actually work in spring, I have decided to go for more flowery or overgrown versions, and I really hope that there's going to be something for everybody. Now, before we get started, just a quick disclaimer, because none of these coats are actually my own design. Instead, they were made by incredibly talented creators in the ACNH community, and as far as that was possible for me, I did try to link them all in the description box down below. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so just like last time, we're going to start out with this very original dirt path, because this gives you a better impression of, the general color of the grass and how the path kind of works with that. And also it'll show you a little bit better how I've laid out the path, and therefore that might help you judge all the upcoming path versions. Now, with every single path, we're just going to walk from my airport to my Able Sisters. I will also try to give you a more detailed shot, and every path will be shown in and out of the cherry blossom seasons. So you will see just green trees, but of course also these pink trees, so that you can judge better what colors work and what you kind of appreciate more. Additionally, after introducing each path, I will quickly tell you kind of what pieces are available, so if there is like any single pathing piece available. And just one more thing I want to mention is that if you like more than one and you want to try them out, it's actually really easy to do so. The only thing you have to do is go to your Able Sisters, and then you type in the code of the path that you like, and basically you have to overwrite your current design. So let's say I want to try out this path. I'll just take the top left corner of it and make sure that I also overwrite my top left corner of my previous design. And so now, after overwriting the top left corner of our design, that one has also been replaced. So it doesn't just remove them or anything, it just actually replaces the code, and so you can easily swap this out and try more than one version to see which one actually works best with your island. And now I would say, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into these creations. We will be starting with this dirt path that has the see-through flowers. This version comes with all the necessary 9 pieces and also offers you 2 single pathing pieces. I personally like this one because it is pretty basic, but with the see-through flowers, it kind of adds a bit more detail and also incorporates the grass color really nicely. And personally, I also enjoy the more muddy tone of it, just because, during spring, it can sometimes rain. Next up, we have this dirt path with all the small purple flowers. For this path, you actually get quite a few options, such as different pieces for the middle or single pathing pieces, as well as different pieces for all the sides or corners, as well as these patches. And you can also implement this path in a lighter shade of brown. And this one is exactly the shade of brown as that very first dirt path that I showed you, like the original one. And so I actually opted to use the middle piece of the very original dirt path, which is what I really love about this version, because you yourself can decide how many flowers you really want to implement, and you can make it as detailed as you want or leave it pretty basic. And now on to this one with white flowers around the borders. For this path, you get all 9 necessary pieces plus some additional options for the middle, and you can also mix and match this with a plain version, or you can choose the path with pink flowers instead of the white ones. Now, this path I think is my personal favorite. I just love the way the flowers look. They're an absolute eye catcher, but they're still kind of subtle enough so that they work with every single decoration that you put out. And for me, they just fit perfectly for spring, because it is, bringing the flowers back, but still it is very easy to incorporate into your island. Next up, we have a lighter dirt path with flowers. For this version, you get all the 9 pieces plus single path end pieces, and you can also implement this path in a slightly darker version. Now, this one of course works with some other themes that I am using right here. This one is very much like a natural foresty cottagecore, but if you were to use a more tropical vibe and you're using sand on your island and you have like palm trees, I think that this one would be absolutely beautiful. Then we have this version with mushrooms and flowers around the border. For this path, you can either choose the regular 9 pieces or implement this as a single tile pathing. Additionally, you get this patch of dirt and these additional cute strawberries that you can also implement. And of course, you could choose to implement this path with yellow flowers instead of white. Obviously, the mushrooms are not that fitting for spring. Nevertheless, I feel like this one works really, really well. And let's say you have like a fantasy forest or you do like a Forestcore kind of theme. I still believe that this kind of really works. I just love the colors, even with the pink trees. I love the details on this one, and I think that it could absolutely work. Next up, we have another dirt path with a darker border and flowers. This version comes with different pieces for the middle as well as the corners, and it also has a full-on single path option as well as this patch of dirt. Now this one I believe would also work perfectly in summer and probably in fall as well because of that darker border around it, and it incorporates so many different colors that it really does work with a lot of different themes. I could see this in a Cottagecore or Forestcore island, but I could also definitely see it for a Fairycore island, and I just believe it fits a lot. And now let's come to the same path with a green border. This version is from the same creator as the one with the darker border, and therefore also comes with lots of pieces to mix and match or also to implement just this single tile pathing. Even though I think this green matches the summer green a little bit better, I still feel like it works just because it looks so mossy and overgrown. And just imagining this once again in either a fantasy core island or maybe also something very overgrown, I think would look absolutely beautiful. And once again, with all the colors that you get, this is super versatile. And with the next one, let's switch to some stone pathing. This version has all the necessary 9 pieces. I really like this stone pathing because it looks so natural with all the little flowers and the grass and kind of green that is in between the cobblestones. This is going to be so easy to work into even natural islands. So even though this is a stone pathing, I feel like it could really work with forest and natural and cottagecore. And next up, we're going to stick with the brownstones but go with sparkles. Next to the basic 9 pieces for the path, this one also has 2 options for a single tile path. I will later on be showing this in 2 different colors, but I also really enjoy this brown. Once again, I think with the brown, it kind of works nicely because it looks so natural and it's going to be very easy to implement on a cottagecore or forestcore island. And the sparkles also make it work for Fairycore, which I really enjoy. And here we have some overgrown cobblestones. For this version, you can find all the basic 9 pieces as well as single tile options, plus all these stepping stones that can be used as cute details, and there's even more options down here so that you can actually make it into a 12-piece path if that's something that you would like to do. Now with this one, we're going more onto the regular stone colors, I would say. However, I do feel like with the worn pieces around the borders and corners, this is so beautiful on a spring island, and even the tiny flowers give it some more detail. Next up, we have some more mossy cobblestones. These come with all the necessary 9 pieces and also offer you this single tile pathing option as well as these stepping stones just by themselves. Now this one obviously has a way more natural shape to them, so once again, implementing this with like a forest core theme will probably work very nicely. And I do like how the stones actually look mossy, so each of them has a bit of green, which kind of makes it fit the entire grass color, which I personally really enjoy. And additionally for this one, I wanted to show you how it looked on the in-game pathing because I do quite enjoy that. And next up, some darker stones with grass. This one also offers the opportunity to implement it with all the 9 basic pieces or also implement some single tile pathing. I personally feel like this stone color looks a bit unnatural because it's so dark. However, when I found this coat, I immediately had this like fantasy feeling, and because of all the grass growing in between and the flowers kind of around it, I felt like it was perfect for spring. And this could really work if you're going for like a whimsical theme. A slightly more natural color is this cobblestone path. This one has all the necessary 9 pieces plus an additional option for the middle as well as single pathing options, and it also comes without the moss. Ever since finding this one, I've actually seen it used on Instagram quite a few times on spring islands, and I definitely understand why, because the stones kind of still have a natural shape, so they don't look too kind of city-like or town-like. They look very natural, and the moss in between implements it nicely, but it doesn't take away anything from the decorations around it. Here we have that stone path in a more stone-colored version. For this one, you get all necessary 9 pieces plus a full-on option to implement this as a single tile path, and also these individual stepping stones. Once again, I think that the shape of the stones for this one is really beautiful. I like the way that the path is kind of laid out, how the corners look, and for this one, of course, the color is way more that like bluish gray, so way more of a cobblestone color. Once again, with all the sparkles and little flowers, I can definitely also see this on a Fairycore island. And here we have some more whimsical stones. For this one, you get all the necessary 9 pieces, and also there is a winter version available. This is from the same creator as one of the Mossy cobblestones that we just saw, but this one I feel like has a completely different vibe. With all those swirly stones, this immediately made me think of fairies and gnomes, and especially with the cherry blossom trees, I think that this just really looks magical, and I would love to see some people use this path. And the third version of this path in a very light color. On top of the basic 9 pieces, you also get these additional stepping stones. And this color variation I also wanted to share because once again, I feel like the vibe is another, because this one I can see if you're on the contrary to me going for all of the lighter customizations, this will just blend in a lot better, and also once again, beautiful with the trees. And I also have these colorful cobblestones. Apart from the basic 9 pieces, you get an additional option for the middle piece. You have some single pathing pieces, these stepping stones, and also these very narrow borders. Honestly, this is not a path that I personally would implement, but just because of the colors, I just don't think I could make it work with all the dark customizations. But when I saw it, I had to include it. I feel like the way the cobblestones are made really works well because they just blend into the grass, and I feel like this very bright color seems very happy and maybe even for a Cottagecore island. And with this path, we'll transition to the grass versions. For this pathing, you get all the necessary 9 pieces, and it also comes with a lot of other designs that fit the same color scheme. This path, as you can see, is kind of a grassy one that has a lot of cobblestones on it. I have to admit, when I first saw it, I thought it was blue flowers, like blue grayish flowers. So I think that you could also probably pass it off as that. I really like this. I do have a few other grass versions I want to show you because each of them are beautiful in their very own way. The next path is a very subtle one. For this path, you can either implement it as the basic version, or you can also implement it as a single tile path. As you can see, this one almost matches the grass too perfectly because you can't really see it all that well, but maybe that's exactly the vibe that you're going for. If you're going for a very overgrown island, or you just want to put all the attention on your decorations, then this might be for you, and also the centerpiece can be put on in-game pathing. Up next, we have this version with sparkly flowers. This version brings you all the 9 pieces, has additional options for the single tiles, and also these cute added on details. I really like this version. I feel like it matches the grass kind of perfectly because the border is a little bit darker and fits the actual in-game grass, but then the center of it is a bit lighter, and so it does still show up. And of course, all these sparkly flowers and added on bits and details make this into a really, really great addition to your island. And here we have a grassy path with white and yellow flowers. For this version, you can get all the necessary 9 pieces, as well as single tile options and this additional option for the middle piece, and also the creator has uploaded tons of other designs that kind of fit the same vibe. Out of the grass path versions, this one might be my favorite because it just fits the in-game grass so well, but still shows up, like it still definitely can be seen as a path. And then I personally like these more subtle and kind of muted colors of the flowers, so just in like white or cream and yellow, because it puts a lot of attention on all the details around it. Next up, a version with more colorful details. For this one, you get all the basic 9 pieces plus this additional patch of grass, and the creator has recently also uploaded this version without the colorful flowers. The creator called this Wildflower, which I personally think fits very, very nicely. This can really be seen as like a mossy or grassy path in a forest that really just has all these different flowers growing on top of it. Once again, with all the different colors, this is very easy and versatile to implement, and I also love how the border does make it stand out. This next one has the flowers in a bit of a different style. This creator has actually uploaded the path with 9 pieces each in a few different colors so that you can find the perfect shade for every single season. I really can't think of a better term to describe this path than cute. I just think that the shape of the flowers is so special, and you know, with them being tiny but kind of perfect, it really, really is cute. Obviously, there's lots of details and you definitely have an eye catcher, but I still feel like it works well with all the surroundings. Here we have a more yellow tinted version with flowers. This creator has uploaded all the necessary 9 pieces for this pathing, and also there are quite a few other designs that fit the same vibe. This version does stand out a little bit more. I kind of still like it. I really like the shape of this pathing, and the flowers once again really do look cute, even though they're very, very different once again. I feel like because of the coloring of this path, it could also work well in fall and therefore be implemented for a very long time on your island, which is also something to very much enjoy. And next up we have this flowery path. Apart from the basic 9 pieces, this path brings you a few different versions for the middle piece and also has these 2 single tile path options. I think this path is fairly popular. I've seen it used a bunch of times and I totally understand why. With all of the flowers, they're basically overtaking this path. It looks very, very magical, and I think that it can be implemented in many different ways, either as a full-on path or just with little patches over the in-game pathing, or you know, somewhere in between to add more details and more flowers. I also have this very, very mossy version of a path. For this version, there's a few different side as well as corner pieces, and on the second page you can find a lot of additional stepping stones and mossy and cute details. I've said it a few times in this video already, but once again, this one kind of does give me some whimsical vibes. I know that once again there are mushrooms on this path, so it might not be intended for spring, and also the green might be better for the summer green of the grass, but I still kind of really like it. I think that the darker border just makes it very mossy and very, very nice for spring as well. Up next, we have a strawberry variation. This version brings you all the 9 pieces, and also the creator has recently uploaded this version with orange flowers instead of strawberries. And here, once again, the word cute comes to mind. I think that the strawberries and the abundance of them too is just really adorable. Mixed in with all the white flowers, I think that this can be used for spring islands. I personally also love how it looks with the cherry blossom tree, so if you're going for those, then this might be something for you. And with this sparkly version, let's transition to Fairycore. For this path, you get all 9 necessary pieces for the regular path version, as well as all the necessary pieces to implement it as a single tile pathing, and you also get some stepping stones and single patches, as well as these sparkles just by themselves. I think this must have been one of the very first ones that I found for this video, and when I saw it I knew I had to take it in just because of all those sparkles and then pink petals that are on the path, because obviously that would be amazing for the cherry blossom season. You can see here how well that fits and how magical it looks, so I personally think this is a great option for this time of the year. The next up, a path made entirely out of petals. This version brings you all the necessary 9 pieces. I showed you this path back in my winter path video, and I knew that I had to implement it for spring as well. Now, one thing I would like to say is that I feel like the corners aren't as smooth as they maybe could be, but of course with this made out of pink petals, the spring and cherry blossom season definitely comes to mind. And next up, a pink and purple flowery path. For this one, you get all 9 options plus this patch of flowers. This one also is very much out of my personal comfort zone when it comes to colors, but as you can see, it does look good on the floor. Like, I do love the shape of it, and I also personally love the way that it looks with the cherry blossom trees. I feel like it actually looks like there are petals in between the different flowers, so if this fits your theme and your island, it might be a great option. And here we have the sparkly path in pink. This pink path comes with all the 9 necessary pieces, as well as a full-on option for the single tile pathing, and it also brings you the petals by themselves, as well as these stepping stones up here. This, as you saw, is from the same creator as the green sparkly path that we looked at earlier. This version, however, is completely pink, which once again, out of my personal comfort zone, but the shape is great, and I do think it looks great with the green of the spring grass, and of course it does look good with the cherry blossom season. So if you are going for these colors, then this path might be the absolute winner for you. And there you have it. Over 30 versions of the path for spring. I really hope that you were able to find one that you really enjoyed. Definitely let me know in the comments down below which one was your favorite or which one you will implement on your island. I would very much appreciate if you liked this video and even shared it with your friends, because it did take quite a bit of work, but I'm really happy to have done it. Other than that, you're obviously welcome to subscribe to my channel if you would like to see my future videos as well. I hope that you have an awesome day, and I would love to see you again very soon. Bye!